Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be seeing how we can add gitignore file. Okay, and before that, let's discuss why we need to add gitignore file. Okay, so many of the times when you are working on your project, there are some dummy file, cache file, log files, okay, some images sometimes, okay, some temporary files are created, okay. I don't want to make my Git repository bulky, okay. I don't want these all these unwanted files to be committed and pushed to the repository, okay. So we have this git ignore file in our repository root directory so that anyone who is working on the project, he don't accidentally add those file or push those file to the repository. Okay, we can give some patterns of the files and that will exclude them to be added to the git repository. It is not going to track those files. Okay, so first of all, let me add a git ignore file. Okay, it's touch dot get ignore. Okay, so I'm just creating a new file dot get ignore. Okay, so if you can see in my Visual Studio Code, I have this file created, right? So now let me first commit this file. Let me add this. If suppose you want to add all the files or you're not worried which file you need to add, just use git add dot. Okay, it will simply add all the files. Okay, let me commit this as well with the message. Okay, let's do git status. Now it's committed. Okay, so suppose I want to add few files here, right? Let me add one sample file here. Let's say event log dot log. Okay, and let's say dummy dot png. Okay, let's say I want to add sample dot txt. Okay, then let's say I want to create some file or folder. Let's create one folder as well. Okay, uh, let's say cache. Okay, inside cache, let me again add cache dot log. I'm just creating the some sample file. Okay, so here let me add this is log. Okay, similarly in the event log as well. Okay, and then okay. So if you see, if I do git status, okay, all these files and folder are created, right? Event log.log, cache folder is created, dummy.png is created, sample.text file is created. Okay, so now let me open git ignore. Okay, and simply say cache. Okay, and then do git status. If you can see here, the folder cache is now excluded. Okay, it is not tracking, git is not tracking my cache folder. Okay, anything which is added under this folder will be excluded. Okay, similarly I want to exclude suppose the png file, right? Let's say dummy.png. Okay, and let me again do git status here. Okay, you can see that git dummy.png is also removed, right? Similarly, suppose let's say event log.log. Okay, sorry. Okay, and then sample. txt. Okay, save this. Let's status do the status. Okay, so you see that none of the files which we created, right, is listed here. Okay, so first of all, let me commit my gitignore file. Okay, so let's say git add. Okay, git commit. Okay, and now let's do git status now again. So okay, nothing is there to track, right? You saw that the dot sample.txt file, event log.log, dummy.png, and even the cache folder, right? All are excluded from the git, right? It is not complaining me to add these file or commit these files. Okay, it is not tracking at all. Okay, so this is how you can ignore the files which you don't want to commit, right? You can also use wildcards, right? So suppose sample text is there. Okay, now let me add one more. Okay, sample uh, 2.txt text. Okay, and if I do git status now, okay, you can see that the sample2 file is now complaining that it is untracked. Okay, but I don't want to specify the file name itself, but I want to give the pattern so that uh, it can recognize which pattern of file I have to ignore, right? So let's say if I do instead of sample.txt, if I use a while star or asterisk, okay, and now if I do git status, okay, it is not complaining me to track or commit or anything, right? So git understood that these are the pattern or file or folders which I have to exclude, right? So it is now complaining for git ignore. Let me add this as well and show git commit. Okay, if I do git status, okay, it is not going to complain. Okay, and you will also see that, see, if I make any changes, okay, if I do test, test, okay, test, and save this, and I here do git status, okay, it is not going to complain, right? Even though I made some changes in this file, it is not complaining. That is why you use gitignore. Okay, typically when you are running your application on local system or debugging, okay, logs are generated, you're generating logs. Okay, you don't want them to be committed to the repository. Okay, and each and every events will be recorded, right? When you are generating logs, okay, it will be huge file, you don't want to track that. Okay, and it will always append, right? So I don't want all these files to be committed to the git. Okay, that is why we use .git ignore file. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video.